This is just a quick video to show how I create rosettes in FreeCad. So this is the latest current version of FreeCad. Select a parametric part, create a sketch on the XY plane, and the first thing we want to do is set up some construction lines. So set up some construction lines. Now my rosettes need to be around 150 millimeters in diameter, so we'll create a circle and we'll set that to 150, and let's go for a 5 mil so we set that to 155. Now we need a couple more construction lines, and so we'll set a straight line here, and we'll start at the center and we'll come out to 100 mil at 0 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is create a simple 16 bump rosette. So what we want to do is another construction line, and again we'll set that to 100 mil, and then the degrees 360 divided by 16 bumps, and so that sets the phasing we've got there. And then we want a third one halfway between the two, so we'll set that at 100 millimeters, and we'll say that is at 360 divided by 32. So those are our construction lines. So now we can actually start to create the rosette. So we'll now go back to normal geometry, and what we'll do is we'll set an arc, and if we set an arc we'll grab a point here onto that line there and onto that line there, and then right mouse click to clear it. Now what we want to do is we want to align that point there with our 150 mil circle, so we'll do that, and then we want that point there again with that line there, and we'll align that. Now we can see that it's moved the center point of the arc onto that line, which is exactly what we want. We can now adjust that to give us whatever amplitude we want. In this case I've chosen 5 mil, so if we align that there, and we need to anchor that point, so we'll take that point there to the center, and that's 48, so let's go for 49 millimeters, so we've actually got a fixed point. Clear that. Now the last thing we need to do is a couple of lines to make a segment, so from there to the center point, and another one from that center point to that on the arc. So we've now got a fully constrained drawing. So we'll close that. The thing we want to do is pad it. Now we can pad it to whatever depth, however thick you want your rosette. 6 millimeters suits me, and so that's that. Now the next thing we want to do is actually make that into a full 360 degree rosette. So select the pad and we'll set and so we want the number of occurrences 16. So there's our rosette. We'll say OK on that. Now we've got no center hole and no phasing holes, so to do that, if we click on the top face and we'll create another sketch. Now the first thing we need to do is a circle on the center at whatever diameter you want, in my case 14.5 millimeters, and then I want a phasing hole. I'll set it there, and I want that to be 3.5 millimeters. Now I know that the distance from the center for my phasing holes needs to be 50 mil, So set that to 50mm, and I actually want it actually on that line there, so select those two and make them coincident. So again, fully constrained, nice and green, so I can close that. So what I need to do now is pocket a hole through the rosette. So I go for pocket, change it to through a wall, so let's put our two holes through there. Say OK. Now the last thing I need to do is, that's obviously only one phasing hole, so what we'll do is we'll select the pocket, we'll select the tool there. Now we know that we actually want the angle to be 360 divided by 16. Yep. So what that's done is that has put us two phasing holes in line with the two peaks there, and of course what we actually want is at least 3. So if we come in here, we can click on occurrences and we can go 3, and so that's now put a separate phasing hole in the center. So now we've got that, and literally we save it, and we'll save it to, and we'll call it rosette 16 bump. And there we are. That is just a simple way to create a rosette.